Okay, so welcome back to another Gate Ruler video, deck profile. This one will be a zombie-based deck. So this is a deck I started to make after I did the budget series for the different decks, and the one that used the zombie decks. I wanted to use a little bit more of the zombies, but I also thought about where a lot of the cards that revive zombies, sometimes you don't have them in your graveyard, so I wanted to focus on some of the counters that actually like inflict damage on yourself. That way we can load our graveyard and then potentially hit those zombies. There's one thing to note that this deck uses a full playset of two of the superior rares from the different factions, which is kind of drying up, at least through TCG Player the last time I checked, where there's not that many listings for them, even though they're not like super expensive. It's just that there's just not much quantity out there because of how like little bit comes within like a box. And then I did do a box or a master case opening, where I only had like maybe four or five play sets out of a master case, which means each case only comes with about maybe a play set or a little bit more extra when you count all the different foilings that you have. But hopefully they'll be able to fix that problem, or hopefully maybe in set 4 when we get it, they'll just get rid of that ability, or if not, they'll just increase the amount of superior rares that we can get, just so that way it doesn't clog up or dry up, which is may be one of the downsides to the superior rares for set 3. So this deck is an Overlord. It's going to be using red blue, and then there's like sub themes, some military sub theme, as well as the zombies. So the first card we have is dreadnaught, fuse-ikazuchi. So this gives all of your military plus an extra strike, as well as you can restand a few of the level 1 or less militaries that we run in this deck. And again, because we are playing Overlord, we don't have to pay 1, so we don't have to worry about the discount cost. Next, we're also running 4 mistwyrm, Clock Tower Guardian. There are some keys to note that sometimes there are some awkward plays with this deck, because, like, for example, mistwyrm is not a military, so it does not get the extra strike. However, giving our ruler breakthrough is actually very important, because it lets us push more damage through. But we're also using mistwyrm so that we can get multiple attacks out of it. And again, because we're playing Overlord, we don't have to worry about paying the discount. Next, we're playing one kouga, kinomiya. So this is from set 1 legend. So whenever we counter or when we play it, because it is a touchdown, we can just look for a card in our deck and put it on top. So this lets us search for specific, so like in the middle, if we damage check this, we're using it as like, if we're going to still take more damage, you can use it to search up some of like the healing counters that we run, or you could even use it to get your special summoning counters. And then our second legend is Captain Liberty, because again we do have ways to heal out, as well as we don't reuse our counters, so we can always use to just special summon Captain Liberty. And he is a military, so he will get an extra strike from Fuse, even though you can't restand Captain Liberty with it. So first zombie we're running is Zombie Rider. And again, this one has base breakthrough, and again it will gain an extra strike with Fuse because it is military, and then it will also increase the attack and HP of this card if Fuse is like on the field, because it is a military. But then another one is that mistwyrm is not a military or zombie, so he does not increase Zombie Rider's attack, which is something. But in having like this and mistwyrm means that you have your ruler as well as this unit to break through the middle, so it can get through pesky units. If your opponent like has those ones that summon themselves when they counter check them, and you can still push through damage. Next we have 2 Captain Zombies. So Captain Zombie is both a zombie and a military, so it really boosts Zombie Rider, as well as it also gets another strike for draconoid dreadnaught. And this is just very good for removing face down cards. And we're only running 2 because we can easily recur it, and we do have ways to heal him out should we need to. We're running 2 zombie kaizers, so you could use it for the enhance. Like if you end up special summoning this and you already have another zombie, you can just enhance over it, as well as you can increase its strike by getting rid of charges. as well as it has charge shield if you do choose to enhance. The next we have 4 zombie soldiers. So this is one of the more important ones because it is a level 1 military and zombie. So it boosts both abilities for zombie rider, as well as it also fits the requirements for draconoid fuse to restand this card, and it also gives it a 3rd strike. So it means that it's a 5 attack, 3 strike card that can hit, multiple times. We're also running 4 zombief. So this is just a zombie. It has 2 strike. Unfortunately, it does not get the strike from fuse, but we can also use it. Level is also kind of important for when we get to the reviving zombie card, because it requires specific levels or a combination of levels. Next, we're running 4 zombie trolls. So this one is only a zombie. It's not military, but again, when we play it, we can discard a zombie because we are running a fair amount of them, because we kind of want them in our graveyard, and then we can usually, like, if you like dump Captain Zombie, you can always just revive it later on with its own ability. And then we are running 4 mutilated goblin. So again, it's only a zombie, but it does have 2 strike for level 0. And again, level requirement does count, or does play a small factor when reviving zombies. Okay, the first count. So now we're going into all of the rest of the counters. So for this one, we're running 4 black cat siths. So we can't take too much advantage because it is not a zombie or a military. However, if you really need to, you could make it a military while it's on the field for its familiar ability, and then for that turn, draconoid would actually give it 1 strike, and you could restand it if you really want to. But Black Cat is mostly in there for the ability to cycle through our deck. So that way, if if we damage check it, we can heal out a zombie that we can revive later on, or we can even heal out like Captain Liberty or Captain Zombie, and then cycle through more cards so that we can get more cards in the graveyard to revive for our zombie. Also, if you change it to a zombie, if you choose to play it, you can have it become a zombie, and then you can use like zombie kaizer, and you can enhance it over this, since it would be a zombie during that turn when you play it. And then next we have 4 zombiepocalypse. So this is the one that when you play it, or also when you counter check it, you play it. You can choose up to 2 zombie units in your graveyard with a combined level of 2 or less. You can special them from your to your attack zone. So the reason why the levels was important is that it fills the different combinations that you can use for zombiepocalypse. So like to maximize it, you could do like 1 of zombie rider as well as a level 0. Or you can do, again, you can also revive Captain Zombie, who will also get his ability to destroy sets if you choose to special summon him. Or even like Zombie Kaiser, you can combine it with one of the level 0 zombies that you can just kind of get rid of later on if you want. Or you could get like 2 level 1s zombies. Or again, you could get maybe like a level 1 and a 0 if you don't have like any other targets. But then you just want to be careful or conscious, like especially when you hit like Cat Sith, when you start to heal out certain zombies, you want to make sure you're checking which like levels you want. Sorry, there's a non-counter. We have 1 Normandy joint military exercise. So this is to take out a military from your damage, and essentially it's like a free heal. So this is usually one you'd want to use to get back like Zombie Riders, one of the more important ones. Or if you need to get back your Captain Zombies or even Captain Liberties get stuck in damage and you don't hit like any of your heals, you can use this to get it out. And they're running 4 Supernatural Citizens Act. So again, this is like the healing so that we can heal out certain zombies, as well as it lets us stay alive, since like again, Black Cat Sith, hitting it as a counter doesn't actually stop any damage. It actually just keeps the damage the same no matter how much we're dealt. And the last card we're running is 3 tatari-jyaaaahs. So this is a force reveal. So with Overlord, if you draw it for your turn, you have to actually pay 1 energy to play it, because you are playing the card. So we're running this is to actually, aside from getting 15 extra cost in our deck, along with like Black Cat Sith also increases our cost. This card is actually meant to like cycle through our deck so we get through more damage, so we can hopefully hit, like we want to hit zombie, or black cat sith, so that way we mill our deck, and then we get out zombies into our graveyard, so that way when we hit zombie apocalypse we can reuse it. We can reuse those zombies that way. So it's similar to like other card games, like with Yu-Gi-Oh. It's the idea behind it is that you mill like a bunch of your cards, so that way you can play it. Similar to like again with Yu-Gi-Oh, like Lightsworn monsters, or again other card games where you want to mill a good chunk of your deck. Like even in Vanguard, where you had forget the faction. It's been so long, but again, the one that you want to fill your graveyard, so that we can use abilities, or use it that way. So that's why we're running 3 tatari-jyaaaahs. The original version of this deck, I tried to do 4 tatari-jyaaaahs, but there were some games where I was hitting like maybe 2 or 3 of them, and then along with the cat sith, it was pushing it where I would be losing by like 1 or 2 extra damage. So that's why I decided to cut 1, just to lessen the amount we'll see in the deck. And then the extra 5 cost wasn't too necessary. But if you would want, you could also try to build the deck. Like if you don't have the superior rares, you could actually end up cutting either the 3 tataris, or you could cut the 4 black cat sets, because then you would end up opening up a lot of space in terms of level cap. If you get rid of, this is, 32 levels. So then like you don't need like this 15 here from the tatari-jyaaaahs. You could just use just the cat sets, and then it would free you up to use extra counter spaces as well as you'd want. If you find like yourself taking too much damage, or it doesn't mill, like sometimes there were some games where I didn't mill like the right ones, where I would just keep hitting all the counters, and then my opponent would just hit me for like 8 in one turn, and it was like, oh. So that's the end for this deck list. But again, there are many options you can do for it. And the deck list will be in the description below. And again, if there's any other decks you'd like to see, or if there's different card types, at some point I'll also probably be making a video of how I approach deck building. Because again, usually for me personally, I will always if there's certain cards I really like, I'll try to build a deck around it and then see if it works. And then sometimes when building certain types of decks, I end up not making it, because I end up changing it. Because I am conscious about, what other decks people are playing, which is what this game is kind of about, since, there is no sideboarding. So you have to be, conscious of what other decks will be playing that, you don't want to just run into, and then you just can't beat because they have like a huge advantage against you. But with that, thank you for watching, and then I'll see you guys in the next one.